All right. So today we are going to talk about what's new in review 21.x. So when I say 21.x, so that means from 21.0 onwards till up to 21.5. And then there are some features which got enhanced in the Bluebeam cloud. And end of the webinar, we'll have a short Q&A session, and we will focus mainly on the new features of Bluebeam. Otherwise, I mean, for all other your queries, we can take them offline and we can answer them later on. So today let's cover right from the 21.0. So first we'll talk about the sign-in access. Then we'll talk about some SharePoint integration enhancements or SharePoint integration. We'll talk about multiply the comments. Then you can have center coordinates, auto align feature, preference search, latest status history, dark mode, improved sharing studio sessions and studio projects on web, markup selection cycle, and the very latest, which was very recently launched, maybe just last week itself, 21.5. So we'll see how we can stitch the drawings also. So what I'm going to do is I will, switch between the presentation and actual Bluebeam application to demonstrate. So starting with review 21. So the users from the previous version of Bluebeam, like especially 20.x. So over there, you may be having network kind of license, and the licenses were being controlled from your uh, organization admin, and it had only the license which was linked to your particular machine. So in that case, if you want to change from one machine to another, it was a longer process. Now, from 21.x onwards, it is a named user license, and you can access your named user license from up to 5 devices, and you can also use the Bluebeam Cloud to access it. So I will just quickly show you how does the user interface look like. So this is the user interface of Bluebeam Review. It was almost similar in 20 as well as in 21.x, but over here on the top right hand side, you get to see the license information. Since your Bluebeam ID is nothing but your email ID, it shows your email ID over here, the region, Bluebeam Australia, to which your license, I mean, your license is logged to, and your plan is complete. So actually, in the plan, you have basic, core, and complete. Complete offers you the complete set of features in Bluebeam. So this is how you will get to see your license information, and also you will be able to access it on the web browser with the same user ID. So all you have to do is log into this app.bluebeam.com. Since the license is coming from the Australia region server, I can log in from there and just put the Bluebeam ID, put the password, and then I get to see the same studio projects and same studio sessions which are there in my desktop version. Okay. So you can access it. I mean, if you are working on site and have just the tablet, or maybe you have a different laptop or computer system at site, still you will be able to log in and start working on it. So this was the first feature. Then the next feature is we'll talk about, I mean, in 21.0.3, it was something about the Microsoft information protection. Some files were not able to open or view them properly, but now that support is also there. Then I would like to show you there is an enhanced support for SharePoint Online. Now, the configuration of accessing files from your SharePoint document management system is very easy. All you have to do is you can just go to the tools, and in toolbars you have this document management. And in document management, once it is configured, you will be able to see this SharePoint, as well as you can log into your studio project also. So you can go to preferences, and in preferences under the interface you have this file access, and over here there are some SharePoint options, and you can use the default authentication mode also as web login authentication, and you will be able to configure your SharePoint document management system. I'll just show you how does it look. Yeah. So this is where you can edit the link for your SharePoint, and then whenever you are trying to access any file, it will give you an option like this. So if you say file open, it asks you whether you want to open from your SharePoint location or from your local. So if I select the SharePoint, it will take me to my SharePoint folder structure, and in the shared documents, I can have whichever uh, studio project that I want to access. Okay, so this is from the SharePoint, and this is from my local your D drive or wherever you have saved in your files, or you can also access them from the network. So that was about the SharePoint configuration. Very easy now. Next, I will come to, this is very interesting feature, like there is a multiply feature now. So whatever markups or measurements you have done, you will be able to multiply them just like an array that we use. So in order to demonstrate that, now I've opened this markups file, and say suppose there is this open office space is there. So, and probably you have put in some furniture over there. Let's try. Yeah, so there is some office furniture over here, and say suppose you want to use these L-type desks, and you would like to have the workstation configuration arrangement done. So what you can do is select it, right click, and then there is a multiply option over here, and how much distance you want to put in between your two workstations and the number of copies. So say suppose I want three number of copies, and each distance between each of the workstations you want to put it as maybe 6 feet. Let's try this. So you can see over here immediately you get to see how it is going to be. So 6 feet seems quite, like close. So you can change that. Maybe you can put it as 8 feet or something. And then you get to see this kind of uh, arrangement of the workstations. This is just a preview, and whether you want it on left hand side or right hand side, or you want it up or down, all such configurations can be done. Okay, in case if you want to, like mirror this, select it, and you got this alignment uh, 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 property. So I mean the menu. and in that you can flip vertical or horizontal. You can flip it vertical or horizontal. You can maybe use Control Shift and copy it, and then maybe you can flip it. This kind of arrangement also you can do, and then you can of course match it uh, with the previous configuration. So like this, you can use the multiply feature in your uh, markups. Okay. Then there is another thing which is a center coordinates. Okay. So for every markup you do, there is always a center point for that particular markup, and this can be used maybe if you are using the some kind of automation. You want some markups to come automatically at a particular center point and all. So for such requirement, there is something called as center. So that you can get from going to this markup list, go to the columns, and then you click onto this manage columns, and at the bottom you would see this X center and Y center. So if I take this off, you can see at the end of the markup list, these two columns are removed. You can put them back. So this is how you can include your X center and Y center of whichever comment that you want. This can be used. Then, okay, this is also a very good feature. This is an AI feature. I'll talk about the auto align, which can be used in either overlay pages or compare documents. Earlier, it used to be only the page align or the manual align. So users from the previous version would probably be knowing about it. Now, say for example, I have got this revision of one particular drawing, and there is a revision of the same drawing. Okay, if you want to see them side by side, you can always split your screen, and you can see this revision 0 on one side and revision 1 on the other side. But it's very time consuming, like checking it manually where it has been changed. So for this purpose, you can make use of the overlay or the compare documents. So let's first see the overlay pages. So this is the revision 0, and it can be denoted in a one particular color, and then which other drawing you want to compare it. So this is the revision 1 of the drawing, and it will be represented in the green. Now, many a times what happens is, in order to accommodate additional sectional details, or sometimes what happens is your 2D drawings are being extracted from the 3D authoring tool, and it also automatically generates the title block or some annotations. All those things are done by the 3D authoring tool. So, but while extracting such 2D plans or elevations, it may not exactly fit in the same borderline as it was there in the previous version. So you may get to see this kind of misalignment happening. So in the drop down over here, instead of selecting page align or a manual align, in case of manual align, you will have to give 3 source point, and then you will have to match them with the 3 destination points. Instead of doing all this, you can simply click onto the auto align, and then it compares, it checks for the major portion of your drawing, and it will automatically align it. So now you can see this red color area, or these red color equipments or the elements are there in revision 0, which are not there in revision 1. Or even you can see there are certain elements which which were shifted over here. And then whatever is there represented in green color, that is nothing but it's in revision 1 but not there in revision 0. So once you click on the OK, you will be able to get the resultant PDF file. Okay, this is one way. Overlay can also be used in case if you are having multiple disciplines preparing their drawing on the same layout. Say for example, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing (MEP) drawings. So if they are being generated by different disciplines, then you can also combine them using this overlay feature. Another thing is you can also use them in the compare documents. So again, in compare documents, all you have to do is select the revision 0 as document A, select the revision 1 as document B, and over here, instead of page align, again, you have this option of auto align. And when you say OK, it is going to do the cloud marking for you. So since I did not use the auto align, it is showing too many cloud marks. I am sorry. So compare documents, this will be my revision 0. This will be my revision 1. And I'll say auto align and printed from different printers. Okay, so now this way you will be able to see it has correctly identified wherever the changes are there. Okay, so generally what happens is if you are not getting the proper results, just ensure that you are selecting the different printers instead of the same printers. Sometimes the extracted file could be extracted from different sources or by using different printers, like sometimes Microsoft PDF printer, or sometimes it could be the Bluebeam PDF printer, or it could be Adobe PDF printer, or it could be scanned with some scanner. So you better use this different printer, and then over here you will have to use the auto align. All right. So this is how you can use the auto align feature. This is an AI feature which got introduced in your 21.1 version. Then the next thing is the preference search. Now you would be seeing this kind of search in many of the menus. I'll just quickly show you one or two. Uh, in review, you got this preferences, and there are so many, like options or preferences over here, and you probably wouldn't remember under which preference and which tab of that particular preference a particular setting is there. So say for example, you want to know about if you want to change your crosshair to full screen crosshair. So if you just start typing a particular word, automatically it is going to show you wherever. Now I have typed CR. So see over here in this particular option, there is a creation, there is a CR. Over here also there is a CR. Okay, in the JavaScript, there is a CR. Okay, and there is a crosshair. So if you know the full word, you just type in and then it goes on filtering and giving you the more accurate result matching this particular word. So when you click onto it, it takes you to this general preference, and under general preference, there is an option which talks about the show full screen crosshair. So this way you will be able to search any of the preferences which are probably hidden, not hidden, I mean to say probably in one of these preferences and in one of the tabs over here. So it is very easy for you to find any preference that you want. Another thing is similar feature, you also get it in tool chest also. Say for example, in the tool chest, you have got this search bar. So you start typing something. So if I type TA, so it is appearing in all these tool sets. So you can see in the receptacle, there is a TA. In the under mechanical, TA is there in rectangular, or over here, metal strap. So there is a TA. So likewise, you will be able to see it's appearing. But suppose you know what you are trying to find out. So if you say table, then it will select or it will show you only those tool sets and tools where table is mentioned. So you can use this kind of word search or the letter search in tool chest also. This can also be done in the tools and commands also. So over here also, if you want to know about and you want to use the stitching command, then you start as you start typing ST, so you can see it has filtered all those commands which are having ST in it. So stamp is definitely there. Then stitching is also there. There is a status bar also. There is a studio also. So now suppose if I want to use the stitching, so I can directly enable that particular command from here also. So this way there is a search uh, uh, introduced in Bluebeam 21.1. So this is also a very good feature, and you can quickly work on your workflow. You don't really need to remember where exactly the preference is there, or a particular command is there, or a particular tool is there. Then the next one I want to talk about is export latest status only. There are many other enhancements which are done, but today I'm covering only the ones which you know of very much prime importance and you can use them in your day-to-day life. So let's talk about export latest status only. So what do I mean by that is, now there is this commented drawing, okay, and for this particular comment, for this particular comment, there are multiple status. Say accepted, this was done on a particular date and time. You can see over here all these were done, and they are all always marked as in the chronological order. Say suppose for this, if I change the status to completed now, okay, so there are so many statuses over here, okay. And if I export this as a CSV summary, so in the CSV summary, there is something called as full status history. So if I tick mark onto this, it is going to create your CSV report, and in which your first comment was this. And you can see over here all the statuses along with its timestamp, date and timestamp are appearing over here. Okay, but if you just remove that option, remove this full status history and say okay, now the same file you can see only the latest status, sorry, my mistake, only the latest status is appearing. So this way you can avoid the cluttering of the report, and it can show you only the latest status in the report. Okay. Then another thing that got added in 21.3 is the dark mode. So are many of us are you know like uh, probably working for long hours and looking at the screen which is bright or white is harmful to your eyes. So to avoid the harm to your eyes, with the prolonged use of Bluebeam, you can make use of this dark mode toggle switch. So if you click onto this, you get to see it as in the dark mode. Okay. In case if you don't find this dark mode, you can also go to, as I mentioned earlier also, you can just go to the help menu and then just start typing the dark. Okay. So you go here and you start typing dark and you can enable this. Then the next is improved sharing experience for studio sessions and projects. Okay. So whenever you are connecting to studio project or studio session, so these are my studio projects in the Australia studio server, and these are my sessions in the Australia server. And now I can just go to any session basically. Okay. So as soon as you select the PDF in the session, you can see on the right hand side there is something called as share now. So earlier it used to be if you want to share it with someone, it was only from here you could add more number of users. But now there is a share button over here also on top. You don't need to actually go to this share. As well as the same thing, you'll be able to do it on your browser as well. So this is about studio session. Similarly, maybe if you are in any project over there also, this share appears over here now. You need not go into this settings and then go to user access and then over here. You can directly click onto this share and it will ask you to type in the emails or the group that you want to share. Then in 21.4, what was introduced is markup selection cycle. So many a times what happens is you got multiple markups on top of each other. So you can see over here itself, there are about four number of markups on top of each other. What you can do is like whenever you are clicking somewhere, you are not very sure which markup has been chosen. Then again, you will have to go on searching either over here or you just have to, go on clicking. Instead of that, all you have to do is see wherever my cursor is. So it is showing me there are altogether four comments over here. And if I want to cycle with them, so I just have to press shift and just go on clicking on the space bar. So this way you can select a particular command. Very easy now to select a particular command. Okay. And this is the last one which I want to cover today, that is teaching. And this, as you can see, I mentioned that it just got introduced a few days back, review 21.5. It is about the stitching. So many a times what happens is you get the drawing which is divided into number of parts. But when you want to do the estimations like length measurement or area measurement, and especially for the areas or the lengths which are lying, some part of it is lying in one drawing and this other part is lying in the other drawing. So in such case, you can stitch your drawing and then you can get the entire drawing as one drawing. So let us see that in action. I'll just close this. I will open these two files. So these are lighting layouts. There is a north side of the second floor and there is a south side of the second floor. And you can see there are certain observations you can do over here. First of all, the scale is not set. And then there is something like a match line mentioned over here, which is nothing but a match line between this particular drawing and the other drawing. Okay, many a times if the match line is not mentioned, but you generally have these grid numbers, so you will have to match for those grid numbers. Okay, so over here you can see that there is only grid number 15 mentioned. There is no grid number 16 mentioned or 17 mentioned anywhere. However, in this particular drawing, it starts with the grid number 17. But luckily for us, it's mentioned that this is the match line. So what you can do is you have to go to this stitching, okay, and you can add the match lines. So let me go to the first drawing first, and okay, I have to select, it tells select the first point of the match line. So I can select any point on that match line. Since, as you know, in Bluebeam, it offers me these snap points. It is very easy for me to snap to a particular nearest point or end point or intersection point. So I can make use of that, and I can mention this as match line 1, for example. Okay. Then I can also add space. So which part of my drawing I want to match. So I can create this kind of space. This is the match line. Okay, now let's come to this one. And again, I can say add match line, and I can select any 2 points on that match line and the same match line. Okay, add spaces and then select how much I want to add. And then the stitch drawings get highlighted. So this is the resultant. I will just rotate this, uh, rotate the pages uh, counterclockwise. Say okay. And then you can see. So it has matched over here perfectly. So now with this, it is easy for me to uh, find the distances which were lying across this particular match line on either side of it. Say, for example, if I want to find the distance between this particular fixture to this particular fixture, I can easily do it now. So now if I go to the measurements and try to do the measurement, it is, like asking me scale not set. So what I can do is over here the scale was 1 by 8 inches equals to 1 feet, and in this case also it is the same. I could have mentioned the scale same 1 by 8 inches equals to 1 feet, apply the scale, and then search, have the measurements done. So say for example, uh, this is the match line, and I can take the length measurement. Okay, and in another thing is in the preferences, it was not the snapping. So I will say snap to contained and snap to markup also over here. And now let me try to do the snapping. You can see from this point to this point. So it tells me it is about 35 feet 1 by 4 inches. Otherwise, what I will have to do is, since there is this uh, match line over here, I will have to find out separately in this drawing from this point onwards till the grid line. or match line with this same 16 feet by 10 and a half, and then go over here and do the same distance calculation again from this point to, with the help of shift and this thing. So I will have to add them separately and go on doing the calculations. Instead of that, I can just match them and get this dimensioning done or the measurement done. So with this, actually, I've finished with all the important features right from our 21.0 till the latest one, 21.5. So now we will open the session for the question and answers, if any. Somebody has mentioned I can't see the poll. Any other queries, questions about new features? Please raise your hands if you are not able to type in. Are you able to see any question and answers? No. Not yet. Looks like all the features are understood by everybody and they are liking these features.
There's something in Q&A now. Does the stitching tool also automatically match the horizontal grids?
Yes, they do. So this is an kind of AI feature which will, like identify. You saw clearly there was no mismatch at all. But of course, the grid numbers, I mean, horizontal grid numbers also should have been mentioned in both the drawings. Yeah, okay, fine. No worries. It's very simple. Okay, I will just delete all the changes that I had done previously. I will delete all the spaces. Yeah. Okay. So there are these two drawings. You don't see any markups over here, and there are no markups over here also. There are no spaces. There are no stitching lines also. Okay. So this is the match line between these two drawings, right? This is your E1 1.2.1 and this is E 1.2.2. The same thing is mentioned over here. This is the match line. Sometimes you may have the grid lines also, and the grids are starting in the south side plan. It is starting from number 1 till number 15, and your horizontal grids are starting with a.0 or say A till maybe J. Okay. And over here also you can see A, B, C, D is there. Maybe till E.2 is only mentioned. The J could be somewhere here down. Okay. So there are some horizontal grids which are already matching. Now another thing was, I mean, there was no scale set for this, but the scale is already mentioned on the drawing. So you can utilize that. You can put the scale for both of them. Okay. Now you want to do the stitching. So for stitching, you can just click onto this stitching. Okay. Now in stitching, let's come to the first drawing. Okay. What we have to do is we will have to put one stitching line, I mean the grid or the match line that will match between two drawings. Okay, so that is called as your match line. And space in the sense which part of your drawing you want to show in the resultant drawing. Okay, so let me first add the match line. It tells me select the first point of the match line. So you can select with the snapping that is happening, first point. Now it is asking me to select the second point on the match line. So I'll select any point on this. I can put any name for that match line, say OK, and then I can also put the, I mean, define the workspace, uh, the space. Okay, so I want to include this part of my drawing when it gets stitched. Okay, similarly, I will have to do it for the other drawing. So first I will define add match line and I can select any 2 points on this line and I will put the same match line. Okay, same match line I will use and I will add the spaces maybe from here till here I want to include. Okay, so we have to define two match lines and two spaces. Okay, and then once you say stitch drawing, it will perform this stitching and maybe you will have to just rotate this in counterclockwise. So this feature you will get it in actually 21.4, but it have there could have been some bugs into it and we are still improving onto it. So I've showed this feature in 21.5. So now you can see it has exactly match on those on that particular line. There is absolutely no mismatch. Is it okay, Miss Aditya Patil? Please raise thumbs up. Yeah, there is any.
Yes. So Swati is asking if I want to search anything by using image in search window. Is it possible?
Yeah, it is. It is possible. You can use this search function, and in search, you can search by the text or you can search by the visual.
There's another question
Why I'm not able to?
from Swati only. For stitching of two drawings, the scale of both drawings need to be the same or can we change scale of drawing in Bluebeam as per our preference?
You can change, but generally, whenever the drawing is being shifted, created in two parts, they are with the same scale only. People are putting in chat also, is it?
She is asking again.
So for changing the scales, I would suggest you that you refer to our earlier webinar, wherein we covered the measurements part, the measurements functionality more in detail. So you can see over there uh, how to set these scales, how you can set different scales also. You can have different X scaling and Y scaling done, how you can set the scale if the scale is not mentioned but there is already known dimension mentioned on the drawing. So all such things in detail we have it. This is the same one, steel estimation, right? Yeah, okay.
Any more questions?
Maybe you can just quickly put the polls again. Some may not be able to see it or in the menu. And then there are some more polls you want to conduct.
Yes.
Wait. In chat there is some. Okay, thank you. Great. I hope we have covered all the questions. If Somebody else has more questions? Mr. Balaji is asking, can you repeat the markup list? So you just want to see how you can extract the markups? I can just repeat for them. Okay. So there is this markups and the list is there at the bottom that you get over here. Okay. And this markup list, you can add more number of columns like I had shown you the X center and Y center also you can put. And I talked about the status part. So there are multiple statuses with, like timestamps and dates. So when you are extracting your markup list in the form of CSV summary or maybe PDF, there is an option over here, full status history. So if you tick mark onto this, it will extract with all these three statuses. So you can see over here. So review part, there is accepted, there is cancelled, and then there is a pending also. So all such statuses you will be able to see. But if you change that option in the CSV summary, take this off, full status history. So only the latest status will be shown or extracted in the summary. So this was the last status. Is it okay, Balaji? Please raise your thumb. You have raised your hand instead of thumb. It's okay. Yeah. So please answer the polls for us to know more about you and your organization. Swati, regards to your integration partner, you can connect with us offline separately, and we'll talk about the integration part. In the chat box, let me put the support mail ID for you. Yeah, put डाल दिया आपने? Where?
Share the marketing.
Okay.
You can also put Bluebeam support.
Yeah, that's what. India dash support dot.
Also getting update messages which is a bit unheard.
Uh, Mr. Tirtharaj, actually these are notification messages are popped up directly because now it's a named user license. So that's why it has been popped up for every user. I mean, it's just one button. You can ignore it or you can accept it. And you can install, I mean, the IT administrator can decide when to deploy the latest update. And uh, I would suggest, like, if you're having the active license subscription, then why not use the latest version of Bluebeam? And that's all. I mean,
Yeah. So just one question. Are you guys able to see the polls option at the nav bar where you can see chat and Q&A in the same line? Can you see polls? There you might be able to see the polls that you have missed earlier. I'm launching another poll. It should come on your screen right away. So let's just see if you're still facing the issue. Pushkar is visible on your screen, right?
yes. Your poll is, would you be interested in knowing more about NanoCheck solutions?
Yes.
Ah.
I would be interested.
If you still got any more queries, questions, you can always reach to us offline. You've got all our details. You've got all our email addresses.
They are still not able to see the polls. Can you try one thing? Like there should be an option of apps in the same line. So from there you can try adding polls option. Maybe that would work. Or I'll have to check why you guys are not able to see it.
On the top side in the menu, the polls
Yeah.
comes, right?
Yes. I'm not sure if every individual need to add this on their teams. I mean, they should not be. If I have added it as an organizer, they should be able to see the polls. Anyway, I'm launching the last poll for today's webinar, which is the feedback webinar. So please rate, give your feedback by rating this webinar on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the best. Just give the stars to Pushkar. It's 4.5. Okay, I see a lot of people aren't able to see the polls. I'll sort this out for the next webinar.
All right.
So, yeah, thank you once again, everybody, for joining this. And please keep following our LinkedIn page for more updates on the upcoming webinar.